So before I became a Trump supporter, right, I remember back in 2015 when he was going against Clinton. I can remember all the negative things, people in the press were saying, like CNN, MSNBC. I remember them talking about how, we can't allow Trump to be president because, he's going to hit the nuke button. We're going to go into war. If he becomes president, black people are going to be slaves again, and he's just going to destroy the economy. Right. Then, of course, 4 years later passed and 2020 came. Then I eventually, decided to support Trump because of all the lies. Like I remember looking back and saying, all those things that they said in the media that all those things that, they try to scare people into doing that Trump was going to do never happened. Right. So that also just led up to me eventually supporting Trump. And the reason why I bring this up is because, in this video, we have this black comedian called, Rickey Smiley. I never found him funny, back in the days. He was never funny to me. But however, in this video, he's going to give you all the reasons why people should be scared of Trump as a president. And especially with the big, beautiful bill passing, he's going to give you all the reasons why people, especially black people, should be scared. All right, so let's hear what he has to say, and then I'll share my thoughts.
I'm not trying to scare nobody.
Really?
But we are in danger. If you haven't been watching the news and checking out everything that's going on, we're in a lot of danger right now. Because the Constitution, the United States Constitution, as we know it, they about to cut all through that. And we are accustomed to having rights. All of your rights. All of our rights is at risk right now. That whole Make America Great Again, as far as this administration and the way he is going and the way things are going, and when they say great again, that means your ass don't have no rights. If you go and watch Joy Reid videos, if you get an opportunity to watch Joy Reid videos, go watch them.
Okay, if you're going to reference Joy Reid as the source of why Trump is going to, as we're going to lose rights and Trump is going to be bad, that's a very bad source. There's no way someone's going to listen to you like, all right, listen to Joy Reid because that person, she knows what she's talking about. Yeah, if you're someone on the left, then yeah, you might want to watch it. But if you're someone that actually has some independent thought and know that a lot of the stuff that they're spewing is nonsense, Joy Reid is not a good reference, right? And especially, it's funny how a lot of these people on the left, these liberals, they talk about, Trump trying to take away their rights, right? But they never talk about the Democrats, right? Because Democrats are always trying to silence people when it comes to freedom of speech. They're always trying to take away your guns, right? And they're always trying to force things upon you, especially with with the whole vaccine mandate. I remember those days, right? During those times, during the COVID, I will never forget those times where they forced a lot of people to take that vaccine, right? And if you didn't want to take it, you could lose your job. You can't participate in society. I remember the vaccine cards. These are things that I'll never forget. Right. But it's always funny how Democrats talk about how, people on the right are trying to take away your rights when, in fact, it's them that are the ones that are trying to take away their rights. They're trying to give the citizens less rights, but they never mention that. It's always the right. It's always Donald Trump that's going to take away your rights. It's always funny when I hear things like that.
You'll learn a lot, especially her video on slavery. Oh, we're going to wait till the midterm election comes. Ain't gonna be no midterm election. You better look into getting a dual citizenship somewhere if you can, because things about to get ugly. Things about to get really ugly.
They never really explain how these things get ugly. They just regurgitate talking points, stuff that they've heard somewhere else. Like there's not going to be no elections. How are there not going to be no elections? They talk about Trump is going to be a dictator. Okay, how is he going to be a dictator? What are the signs that he's going to be a dictator? Like how? Where's this come from? These are just things that they're just regurgitating off of CNN, MSNBC that are just blatant lies. Because it's so crazy too, right? I bet one of my friends, right, before the election, where he was talking about how the whole dictator talk, right? How once his term is up, he's not going to leave. I bet, and there was a bunch of people. I'm like the only Trump supporter there. I bet everybody there. I was like, okay, who wants to bet $1,000? Come Trump's term, when his term is up, he's going to leave, right? There's going to be an election. His term is going to be up, and he's going to, obviously cede power to the next president. Only one person, right? Only one person, decided to do that. And that's probably going to be the easiest money that I'm on, right? The easiest money. Nobody else wanted to bet me. I was like, I'll bet anyone $1,000. Once Trump's term is up, he's going to cede power to the next person. He's not going to be a dictator. Right? So it's just amazing that these people, they have this thought that, yeah, he's really going to be a dictator. He's not going to leave office when it's his time to leave. Like, he's going to stay there forever. Like, come on. This is the thought process for a lot of people, which is kind of sad because obviously they're watching networks like MSNBC, which is regurgitating, who are espousing this stuff, brainwashing people. All right? So Rickey Smiley is just doing the same thing.
Yep. And I'm scared. Scared. It might be a point where we might have to pack up our families and leave, because if ICE can get immigrants or whatever and just go and get them, and without their due process in court, why can't they do it to everybody else? Now they're doing it to Haitians. And who do you think is next? And they don't give a damn if you're a Democrat or a Republican. They don't care. Nah, they don't care. Get ready. These white supremacy concentration camps, they're all over the country. They're stocking up on weapons and everything, as if they are preparing for a war, while we out here popping fans and boots on the ground. They got real boots on the ground, because, and the thing about it is, I don't care what you file in court. The Trump administration defying federal judges' court orders and stuff. What's going to happen? They can't put him in jail. He has control of the military.
Yeah, that's
what's going to happen?
That's usually the role of the president. He has control of the military. He's the commander in chief. That's for every president that's ever been in the United States. Each president is the commander in chief. That's usually their power that they have. Like, I don't know.
If he defy a court order, he's president, right? Okay. Keep your eyes open. Go to Joy Reid page.
Nope.
Go listen to what Roland Martin has to say, and try to figure out if ICE come and snatch any of us up, what you gonna do? What rights do you have? And even if you have rights, what's the consequence of somebody doing something to you with this administration? Think about it.
Yeah, I thought about it, and that's why I voted for Trump. Look at, man, I'm not worried as a black person. I am not worried that ICE is coming for me. I'm not worried at the least bit. I'm not even a little bit remotely worried about that. And if you're a citizen, you don't have to worry about that either. So this whole fear mongering, saying that, what are you gonna do? Like, ICE is just gonna roll up on people that belong here, or citizens that aren't committing crimes, and they're just gonna snatch them up and deport them. Like, look at, man, if you want to leave, that's fine, man. I'm cool with that. I'm very cool with that. But to think that that's going to happen, that you're just gonna be snatching people off the street that are actually citizens and deporting them, that makes absolutely no sense. Okay, but these are the type of fear mongering tactics that are used for people that struggle to think independently. Okay, and especially if you're someone that's just watching things like CNN, MSNBC, these liberal networks where they don't tell the truth, all they do is push propaganda, then of course you're going to be afraid, because you see it all over the place. You go on Facebook, you go, any liberal space, they're espousing the same rhetoric that's being said across these networks. They all say the same thing. It's like, yo, do you guys even think for yourself? Everything that you're saying is just not true. All right, but this is what they do. can't think for themselves, and they're afraid for no reason. Of course, their side lost, so they're afraid for things that's just not going to happen. And it's unfortunate, but I remember those times where I used to watch CNN, MSNBC, and I used to think like that as well. But it got to a point where I say, all right, let me listen to Donald Trump. Let me listen to this guy. Why do I hate this guy so much? Let me just listen to what he has to say. And then you come to learn, like, all right, he's not as bad as you think, as you thought he was. And you make the decision, you think critically and say, all right, yeah, I'm gonna vote for this guy. Because clearly, Democrats, they're lost. All right. So those are my thoughts. Interested to hear your thoughts. Make sure to leave a comment down below, hit the like button, share, and if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe. So guys, take care. Have a good one. Later.